So I am the digital product manager here at Twinkl, and so my job is looking after all of our wonderful apps that we have. So today I'm going to run through some of our apps. Not all of them, we have a lot of apps. So if you are already familiar with what we do have quite a lot of things. So what I am going to do is I'm going to run through all of the apps that have learner logins enabled, and I'm going to go through a demo of setting up learner logins. I'm going to go through a demo of the learner dashboard, and I'm going to give you an introduction to some of those apps. And then at the end, I'll be open up the floor if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to answer them. So, what is a learner login? So a learner login is a shareable method for a user, so a Twinkl user with an Ultimate account, to share with their learners. It means that they can share their Twinkl subscription, in a sense, and I'll explain how that works, but also you're giving them access to their own learning space. So they will have access to the learner dashboard, they will have access to our mobile apps, and they will also have access to lessons, which you can share some printable resources. You can share things like AR models, 3D models, all to your learners via the lessons app in the learner dashboard. So you get up to 50 learner logins for your user account, so 50 children that you can share access with. And as I said, that we've got mobile apps and we have learner dashboard apps that you can share with your learners, and I will tell you the differences in what they are. So what's included? So at the moment we have 8 learner login apps, and we have, learner dashboard apps, and we have 8 mobile apps included in the package. That is set to grow. We are constantly making new things. We've got lots of exciting things in the pipeline. I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but we've got some really exciting stuff coming along the way, and lots of new features and new updates to some of the existing ones too. So our range of apps covers the full breadth of the UK primary curriculum. So we've got lots of different apps that have different aspects to it that mean that you can get the full extent of the curriculum into this learner dashboard space, and through our mobile apps as well. So you can find out more about those if you visit the website that we have there. That will be in one of the handouts that you will get after this session as well. So don't feel like you need to make notes, as this will all be sent out to you too. But we have lots of apps, and there's lots of little videos that you can watch that shows you how they work. You can customize each app to make sure that it is suitable for your learners. And you can customize which apps you also give to your learners. So some of our apps are hitting the earlier stage learners. You are hitting them right from they're kind of like the beginning of their learning journey. And then our apps travel with that learner right the way through to when they finish the primary curriculum. There is also an aspect of beyond, which we can go into a little bit later, but essentially it does cover the full primary curriculum right the way through. So once your learner is onboarded, we should hopefully have an app that continues with them as they go along. So at different stages of the learning journey, you'll find an app that is most suitable. So I'll go through the learner dashboard first. So here is our learner dashboard. So you see that image there. So the learner dashboard is your learner's own learning space. So it's safe and it's secure. So it's based online. So what you do need to access the learner dashboard is you need an active internet connection. You can access the learner dashboard on a tablet device or on a laptop. And we have different apps in there that can suit the different needs. So not all of the apps will appear if you don't need them to. So if your learner, for example, is at the age where they're just starting to learn and they're just starting their journey, you might only have a couple of apps on there that you want to apply for that learner. So things like our phonics app, the My Rhino Readers library will cover that earliest part of the learning process. And once they progress on from that, you might say, okay, we need now some spelling in there. So you add that into the mix. You can take things away, or you can keep adding to that collection of apps. And it's up to you at any point if you want to adjust what your learner can see and get. So the way that the learner dashboard works is it syncs the progress from the classroom to home. So if you earn some rewards or stars in one of your apps when you're in the classroom, when you get home, you'll still have those rewards and stars. And when they learn from home, they can take them back to school and go, okay, I'm adding more to that. So that's the beauty of this space, is that you are syncing that progress from home to school, and you've got that nice transition between the two. Some of our apps offer tracking and reporting as well. So where we have apps that are fully curriculum aligned and they are following a scheme, it means that you've got some progress in there as well. So you can track what's going on in the back end, and I'll show you some of those reporting areas as I do the demo. So the tracking and resources are found in the My Resources area of the Twinkl website. So that is your kind of like go-to place to find out the back end stuff and set up those apps as well. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through as many of our apps as we can, and then I'm going to start on the demo. So firstly, we have our Twinkl Phonics app. So this is one of our newest apps. Currently, we've got levels 2 and 3 on the app, and we are adding more and more levels. So we are working through these progressively. So the next up to launch level 4, and we'll follow in 5, 6, and then back to 1. So the Twinkl Phonics seamlessly integrates with the DFE SSP program, which is our own Twinkl Phonics program. It supports progressive learning, so there's different ways that you can access the app. So you can either set that up for your learners to work through at each phase and following as they are unlocking the different aspects themselves, or you can tailor this a little bit more and you can actually unlock certain areas, certain focus areas, or you can unlock an entire phase if you wanted to as well. So it's customizable. You can set how you want to want your learner to access that app. There is progress tracking, so you can track where the learner is at, how many rewards they've been achieving, and how they are doing in that app. Okay, and as I said, we are more and more, so that's it's ongoing. We also have the My Renner Readers Library. So this works alongside our Twinkl Phonics scheme. So this is also DFE validated, and it's got complete fidelity to the Twinkl Phonics scheme. You can allocate very specific books to your learners. So this can be done on a one-on-one basis. So, you might say that one particular learner needs a particular book, and you can change those each week. Or you can do it in bulk as well. So if you want to say that a whole class is getting a certain book that week, and then you're moving on to the next book, and so on and so forth, you can also do it in that way. So there's different ways you can assign that. You can also change the books as regularly as you need to in your admin area. So again, you can see that on the screen just there. That's the admin area. And the iPad at the front, that one is what the learner sees. And the learner can basically open those books and read them on any device with a internet connection, which is great. And then we have Twinkl Spelling. So Twinkl Spelling is fully aligned with Year 1 to 6 Planet Spelling Scheme, and also aligns to the national curriculum. It's customizable again, so it means that if you wanted to unlock, for example, Year 1, just for that learner, you can do that. Or if your learner's in Year 6, you can just have that level 6 unlocked. Also, I'll give you a little bit of sneak peek of something that is coming up, but we are also introducing an assignment mode, which means you can give just 1 week of spellings at a time, or a couple of weeks, or maybe you want to do it for a term. So that is launching in the next couple of weeks. So that is, keep an eye out for that one. It has progress tracking. We have 7 space-themed spelling games. So we have things like Whack and Spell, so which is like a whack-a-mole type game. We have our React game. We have word searches in there. So lots of really fun things going on with our space aliens. There's 2 ways of accessing it as well. So you can either train using some of the games, and we have a compete mode, which is almost like your weekly spelling test, that you can get them to type out the words at the end of the week if you want to. Then we have our newest of the apps. So this one only launched last week. So this is an app which replicates the MTC statutory test that we have in England. So this is customizable, so that you can set it up so that it can either do the statutory test, and we can use the default settings in there, or you can set it up very specifically if you know that your learners need to learn their 6 times tables and maybe they need a little bit of intervention work. You can unlock it so that they only get that times table. You can also allow the learner to choose as well. So depending how you set it up, you can get them to choose how they want to access it. So if they know they need some work on their 7s, or they just, want to change the settings themselves, however you set it up, it's up to you. But you can either do it yourself and you're really kind of focusing on what you want them to do, or you can allow them to do the work for you. So this has the heat map reporting to help you to identify any gaps in learning. So as you can see on that front iPad there, that's got a little bit of the heat map, and that shows you how that works. With this, you can apply bulk settings, or you can customize them for individual learners too. And it's simple to set up, easy for learners to use. Now, some of you may have used our times tables assessment tool in the past. So this is kind of like, it is like that. However, you probably realized how difficult that was to set up. So we have made this process a lot smoother. Actually, this is now using the learner login system. So you can assign the app to the learner and you will get the reporting straight back without having to set them into things like groups and all the very complicated stuff we had before. So I hope you'll like this change. Next up, we have Learn and Go. So Learn and Go is where the full curriculum comes in. So when I said earlier that we offer the full curriculum in this learning space, so Learn and Go is a browsable collection of our Go games, resources, videos. So we've got 3 sections in here. We've got Play, we've got Watch, and we've got Discover. So Play is our games, Watch is our animations, and then Discover is some of our interactive resources that we offer, things like matching games and that kind of stuff. So this covers lots of different subjects. We've got science in here, we've got maths in here, we've got geography, we've got history, all sorts. It's a real kind of like, great place to go if you're kind of ever stuck on, want to, to fill a little bit of time as well. So you can give this to your learners and they can access it and have a little bit of freedom to choose what they want to play. Equally, if you wanted something a little bit more specific, you can assign some of these games by lessons as well, which I'll go into in a little bit more detail soon. But this is just a nice little place for a learner to go and find things and discover things. It's been designed in such a way that the learners will instinctively know how to use it. So if you're on any streaming platforms, you will probably see how this has been designed to make sure that a child will be able to navigate it themselves. So yeah, it's lots of fun. Lots of really great games and animations in there that the learners are going to love. So go check it out. Next up, we have our ESL curriculum games. So this is aligned to our ESL curriculum scheme that we have at Twinkl. So it covers all the aspects from levels 1 up to 6, and it's suitable for all age learners who are learning English as a second language. And this is English as a second language as it's taught internationally. So it's designed to boost vocabulary and speaking skills in fun and interactive ways. So we've got things like word searches, anagrams, look, cover, write, check activities, matching activities in here. So yeah, it's a great little app for learning English as a second language. Then we have Puzzled. So Puzzled is a collection of fun games and activities that a learner can access. So it's things like different puzzles, it's got matching games, it's got strip jigsaws, it's got sliding tiles. So it's an app that's really good for if you're teaching a curriculum topic. So we've got lots of different themes in here again. So sports, we've got art, we've got everyday life, we've got history, lots of different history topics. We've got science in there. So instead of getting the paper out and getting your word searches out when you're kind of like, introducing your class, try out this as a digital alternative. So it's completely print free. Everything is solvable on screen. It's great for things like golden time if you use it. It's good for a brain break. It's also good for rewards as a way of getting your learners to kind of like move on to the next thing. So yeah, lots of really fun activities in there. And then we have lessons. So again, I'm giving you a little bit of a sneak peek here. So in the corner, he's new. So you won't see him at the moment on the lessons tool, but he is coming. So this is our learner dashboard app, which is linked to the planner tool on site. So if you've ever allocated a lesson using lesson codes, there is actually a way of getting it to come to your dashboard. So yeah, so we've got lots of different activities in here that you can assign. So you can do things like assigning some of the Go games if you are wanting something very specific. As I say, most of them are in Learn and Go, but if you're wanting to assign it for a very specific topic that you're learning, you can pop it in there. You can also assign things like AR and 3D models in here, and you can also assign printables. So say you're working with some intervention work and you know that a learner needs to improve on a particular skill, you can assign a resource and that can be printed at home. So when they come into their lesson, they can download it and print it. So you have up to 10 resources in a lesson, and you can have up to 10 active lessons at a time. And each lesson is active for 52 days. But at the end of those 52 days, you can make it active again. So it just means that you're then not forgetting to, not have so many active at a time. So it's just like a way of getting you to go back in and update it. But you can also save a lesson for a future point. So say if you've taught a subject this year, you can then go back in next year after it's been unactive. You can then activate it again when you're teaching that same topic to a different year group, which is great. So yeah, everything that you have will kind of save there, and you can go back to it at another point. To make it appear in the learner dashboard currently, your learner must be in a group, and I'll show you that as we go in there. That will change very soon. It'll be a lot easier too. So yeah, just another little sneak of what we've got to come. So you don't need to activate this app. It will appear automatically as soon as you've assigned work to your learner and then also assigned that work to the group that your learner is in. So yeah, so lots of changes happen here, but also really positive changes. But it's a great resource that is in this space. So I am just going to point out, I will go through this when we go to the demo, but some of our apps require you to set them up before they will work. So this is something that you might be very familiar with, where you get this message and your learners are saying, oh, I can't get into the app because you've not set up your settings. So the reason they are there is because some of our apps are quite specific on what actually you want your learner to do with them. And so you need to go in and set them up and make sure that they are right and they're tailored for your learner. You can do that in bulk. So if you know you want to set up your whole class, you can just click a button, it'll do them all in one go, and I'll show you that. But I'm just going to flag it as something that's quite important, just making sure that those apps that are curriculum aligned and are getting tracking as well in them do need to be set up. So yeah, I'm just going to flag that before I forget to go through it. Okay, so I am going to move and I'm going to do the demo. So during this demo, I'm going to go through setting up a learner. I'm also going to show you how to download your learner labels so that you can distribute them to your learners. Adding a learner to a group, which is important for the lessons. I'm going to go through setting app permissions, customizing app settings and reporting, assigning lessons, and then I'm going to give you a tour of the learner dashboard. So I'm going to show you the other side as well. So I'm going to move this onto my screen. So I've got it. Do I need it there? Yes, I do. Right. So this tab. Let's double check that's showing. Yes, it is. This is all my learners. Okay. So I'm just going to go back to the home page so I can show you how I got there. All right then. So I'm on the Twinkl website, and to get to the area where you set up your learners, you need to click on your name in the top corner, and then you are going to go to My Resources. And it's going to tell me that I need to come in. Bear with me. Okay, so once you are in this area and you've got to My Resources, what you want to do is go to Manage Learner Logins, which is just on the left-hand side here in this menu. So you're going to go through to Manage Learner Logins. And what we want to do is add a learner. So it's just this button here. You can also upload them in bulk, which is you need to upload a CSV. So you can download that, add them in bulk. What I will say is though, it is actually a little bit easier to do it this way. So we're going to add a learner. And what it will do here, it will generate a random username and a random password. Some of them are a little bit strange, I'll be honest. And what we tend to do if we end up with ones that I'm not so sure about, press regenerate and keep regenerating until you've got ones that you're happy with. It will just do that randomly. Now, what you can do is put in an alias. So I'm going to just call one Gary. There's not enough Garys in the world anymore. So I'm going to give that a name. You don't have to, again. So if you want to just kind of like, you know, belt and braces, you might actually just want to have a username and password. Also, anybody accessing internationally won't have the option of adding in a name or an alias, so it's just worth knowing. You can put a class. You don't have to, but I'm going to put year 1 for this. Year 1 as well. And groups. So if you've got some groups already set up, you can add them at this point. But if you don't have a group set up at this point, you can leave that blank, and I will show you how to add them into a group later. So somebody remind me later that we've created Gary. Right, so that's actually now set Gary up. There you go. You see Gary's there in year 1. Right, so the area I need to go to now to make sure that Gary has access to all of the apps is we're going to go to Manage Learner Login Permissions, which is just in the top corner here. If you get lost at any point, always go back to My Resources. I'll show you how to always get back. Go to My Resources, Manage Learner Logins, and then Manage Learner Permissions is here as well. So there's lots of different ways. There's lots of little buttons everywhere that can get you back to the same place. All roads lead to Rome or to manage learners. Right, so here we have access to all the different apps. So this is covering both the learner dashboard apps and also the mobile apps. So I didn't go through the mobile apps earlier, but I'm going to come back to them later. So here you can say whether you want your learner to have access to everything, or whether you want to be a little bit more selective on what your learner is going to access. So you can see here, Gary is in my list as not having access to anything. So I'm going to click all, and that will just allow absolutely everything. Now you don't have to, as I say, you could go in and unselect, or you could click all and then just select the odd ones that you don't want. So yeah, so I've clicked all there, and it means now he's got access to all of this. However, he has not got access to all of it just yet. There's still a few more things that we need to do. We need to set up a few settings. So I am going to go back to the My Resources area, and I'm going to get back to this menu here. This menu is where everything is. This is where all your reporting will be. This is where all your settings is for all of your different apps. So as you can see here, we've got My Rhino Readers Admin. We've got Twinkl Spelling. We've got ESL Curriculum Games. We've got Phonics for Web. We've got the multiplication tables check. And this one's the old TTA reporting, which will not stay around forever. So I am going to start with the apps that require settings. I'll come back to My Rhino Readers Admin at the end. So I'm going to go into spelling first. So I'm going to go to spelling settings. And in that spelling settings, you can see that all of my learners here have been enabled, apart from Gary down at the bottom that does not have any settings. So as I said earlier, you can do things in bulk. So if I selected several of these learners, so say if I wanted to change some settings on here, I could do these in bulk up here. So I just need to tick them and go to the bulk setting at the top, or you can tick them all and do it in all one go. So if you make all your learners, you can actually set them all up in one big bulk. But as there's just Gary, I'm just going to go down to Gary here, and I'm going to click on Manage the Settings. So in here, we have Allow Access to Spelling. That's already done. We have Show the in-game exit button. I'm going to say yes. Allow access to all spelling words. Now I'm going to click no on this one. So this is where, you know, if you've got a specific year group, that you would actually make this more tailored. So I said that he was year 1. So year 1 is link. If you're unsure about which year is which alien, just click here and you'll find out the full list of which aliens, which world. Also, as I said earlier, there is a new feature coming in here. So what we are bringing in is assignment mode, which will all be in here. So you can actually assign 1 week of spellings at a time, or you can assign like a handful if you wanted to do it, say, for a term or for a half term, just so you've got a few there for a few weeks. Which language? English is the only one we've got at the moment on here. Audio, so you can have it off, on, or you can allow the learner to choose. So I'm going to allow the learner to choose, and I'm going to allow the learner to choose on whether they want to show the timer on there as well. So then I'm going to press save on those learner settings. Oh, I thought I'd done that. There you go. There you go. Clicked link. That's year 1. The save learner settings. And yeah, so that's our first app setup. Now I'm going to go back. So back into the My Resources. And I'm going to go and I will set up one more app. So I'm going to set up and I'll set up 2 because I'll show you the differences between them. So we've got a maths one as well. We'll do phonics. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to set up the settings. So once you get the hang of this, it becomes quite quick and you just go, right, I'm going to set that one up. And we've lost my scroll. This is fun. And press that. We have allow access to phonics. Yes, allow access to phonics for web levels. Yes, and unlock all sets. No. In fact, I'm going to click no on this one just so you can see what happens. So if I click no on letting them into all the levels, so you can say, okay, my learner is in level 2. And you're going to say, okay, yes, I want to do that. And unlock all sets means that it's going to unlock every set within it. If you press no on that, it means that your learner will start at the very beginning of level 2, work through progressively once they earn rewards within it. So it depends how you want to kind of set that up as to how that will kind of appear for your learner. So I've set up them settings and I'm going to press save. I'm going to go on to app number 3, which I'm going to do is the MTC. So again, back to My Resources. And we are going to go into the multiplication tables check. And press the settings. I'll come back and show you the reporting on one of these as well. So again, I'm going to go into this and you can see that Gary over here needs settings. Now this one we can set either statutory check, as you can see, when you click on that option, all of these grey out, so you can't change them because that is the statutory check, which is the MTC test, or as close to it as we can get. So I've already given that. So if I wanted to do it custom, then I can actually set, okay, we want to give the learner 6 seconds, or if you think they're working towards the test but they're not quite there yet, you can actually give them a little bit longer, so they've got a little more thinking time. You can give them up to 14 seconds. Time between questions, some children are a little bit impatient, so you might want less, but the statutory check is 3 seconds. And then you can decide which times tables you want them to learn. So if you know that your learner needs particular help on that, so you might want to set it up in that way. Colour theme, we have 2 different colour themes at the moment. We are bringing in more of those as well. So we are bringing in some different accessibility options too. In terms of the third option is allow the learner to choose. So if you decided you didn't want to set them very specifically, and actually you want them to just kind of go in and try out as many as they can, depending on what they want to do, then you can allow the learner to choose as well. And this here, so test conditions. So this is what will report the data towards you so that you can see their heat map. So if you're doing it in the testing conditions, then you can see how they're doing and how they're progressing over time as well. So I'm going to save that learner settings. I'm going to let this learner choose their settings. Okay, that's saved. Now, in terms of reporting, I think maybe only one of my learners has actually done some MTC. Let me check. It was my test one. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody else. There we go. So somebody in mine has already done some testing, and you can see how they are doing. You can see how long they're taking, how many they're actually getting correct, and then their total pass rate as well. So they've got different options, and you can also do it by times and dates as well. So that's the MTC reporting, and I will just go back and show you some of the other reporting. I just realised I'm stuck in that space. Right, so I'll just go back and I'll show you the phonics reporting. So in these areas, so always go back. My Resources will always get you where you need to go. So you can look at their reporting here, and you can see how many of your learners have accessed. Actually, only one of my learners have played any games, which is quite sad. So you can see how many games they've played and how many stars they've earned, and you can also view it by level. So if you wanted to, let's see, who was that learner? A few. So you can see that they've actually been learning the different sets. So they've been on some of the games, and you can see which games they've been on, and also the last point of access. So whenever they last accessed it, which is just there. Okay. And then I will just very quickly go over the spelling as well. So my resources, I'm going to go to Twinkl Spelling, and you can see the reporting here as well. So you can see how many of my learners have been playing on some of the games and how many stars they've earned and how many medals they have in total. They earn medals from doing the test game. So yeah. So that is very quick tour of that. I suppose the one thing I didn't cover, which I meant to get a little bit carried away, is how to print off your labels. So I'm just going to go back to the Manage Learner Logins. And to print off your labels, you see there's this button that's grayed out here. If I wanted to print off a certain set of learners, I can do that by ticking which ones I want to print, and then this button appears. So it means you can then just press that button, and then it downloads it as a PDF, and you just print that out. So super simple. So yeah, so we have that there. Now, I'm going to move on to the tour of the learner dashboard and show you what all of this is about. So bear with me. I'm not going to log in with Gary. I'm going to go for one of the ones that I've used before, just for speed. So I'm going to share this tab. So this is the learner dashboard. So when you get to this page, so it's twinkl.co.uk/learn. So we've tried to keep that URL really simple so that your learners can find it. They come in here, they put in their username at the top, and they put their password here, and then they sign in. Nice and simple. So this is a learner that I've had for a little while, and so all of the apps have been already activated. Also in here, you can see which apps you have allocated to your learner on mobile as well. So you can see that my learner here has got all of the mobile apps, and that will prompt them to download it from the App Store if it's been enabled. And you don't have to enable mobile apps, but if you do, they will show here so they can see what they've got access to. So we have our different apps that we've got. We have the phonics app, we have my Rhino Reader's Library, we have spelling, and I've just realised I've not gone through my Rhino Reader's Library backend, which I will. We have multiplication tables check, we have Learn and Go, ESL, puzzled, and lessons. And very quickly, I'm going to go back one step. Go back to this tab. Bear with it. It's always something I forget. So my Rhino Reader's Library admin, I deliberately left it to the end because it looks slightly different to the other settings. So unlike the other apps, you don't set whether you want it to appear on. It appears automatically if you assign a book to a learner. So as you can see, all of my learners that was on my list earlier are all here in this area. So this is in the My Resources area, and you go to My Rhino Reader's Library Book Commissions. And you can see we've got the different sets. We've got level 1, we've got level 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So as and when you want to assign a book to a learner, you just go into the level that you want to select. As I said, in terms of bulk settings, you can click from the top and it will select all of them. So if you wanted that book for all your learners, you could do it that way. Or if you wanted to select a whole level, you could. So again, if I wanted to give this learner here all of that, I could. You see that gone all the way across. Or you can do it individually as well. So if you wanted to, you could just do, okay, I want that book for that learner. This learner's on this book, and this learner's reading at this level. So I'm going to tick those books as books for that learner. And so you can tick as many levels as you want, which, you know, if you're following the scheme, you shouldn't be. However, it is possible to assign something, say, from level 2 and from level 3. Maybe if they're on the bus, that might be something that you want to do, or consolidating some previous learning. So yeah, so there is an option of doing it across the different levels as well, and they will appear in the dashboard, which I'm going to show you now. So we have phonics here. So if I go into phonics, you see my very cool robot Rick. If I click on him, you can see he's got an avatar maker, which is great. I think it's very fun. My personal favourite, have I got it? The hot dog. I've not unlocked it yet. I don't think I've got enough stars. I'll work towards that. Must try harder. We have level 2, we have level 3, and level 4 is coming soon, but I'm not going to show you that one. So you can go in, this one's unlocked all sets, so the learner can basically go into any of these. If you've done it not unlock all sets, you will get the first set, and then you will, once you've passed that set, you'll go on to the second set, etc. So you can go into the games, so we've got like a bubble pop game.
Dad has put too much bubble bath in the water. Pop the bubbles so Kit and Sam can get into the bath. Pop the bubbles with the sound.
I think you get the general idea, but we have lots of different fun games in here for your learners to play based on phonics. I lost that. There it is.
Your new sound is...
that one. So I've got the different games in here, different sets. Thank you, Sarah, for the different games.
Help Dad, Kit and Sam make a pizza. Build the word to earn an ingredient. Drag the letters to make the word.
I like playing on these apps because I always test.
Well done! You've earned some olives.
Yeah, I'm conscious of time, so I'm not going to go too long on one app. But yeah, so we have all the different levels and games in there. We can go back to the dashboard. And I'm going to go into my Rhino Reader's library. So you'll see the books that I assigned earlier. There's all sorts of random books here. I'm going to assign at random points when I've done these demos. And you go in and you can read that book. It also tells you which phonics aspects are being covered in the book. And you can go in and read that book. So your learner can read that book at home with a parent or independently and go for it. So that is my Rhino Reader's library. I'm going to do a proper whiz through now. We have spelling. So earlier, link was the one I gave access to, but there are other levels kind of unlocked for all of these learners. So this is all the different year groups. So you've got year 1, year 2, year 4, 5, year 6. One of these games. So this is all the different weeks. As I said, the assignment mode is coming soon, which means you can set up 1 week at a time, or just a few of them. We've got train, and you can pick the different games. So we've got a word search, we've got a word jumble, react, react extreme, whack and spell, look, cover, write and check. And so I'm going to one of these to spell one word. Oh, this is good. Why did I pick this one? Question. I'm very good at word searches.
Wall.
There you go. That's how that works. So it's an interactive word search, and we have things like the React Extreme, which is my son's favourite.
F-I-Z. Amazing. Flick.
I'm gonna make me do it. Right, and exit. And exit to the dashboard. Back to the dashboard. So as you can see, everything's all in one place, which is great. So if you're doing your homework, you kind of work your way along them, right? So then we have our MTC, which is, so this is one where the learner has been given the option of changing these themselves. Now, if the teacher has set these, then this page won't appear at all. So they will go, when they press play, it will go straight in and straight into the questions. Okay, so that is that. I'm not going to try and do multiplications because I'm not very good at them. So yep, so that is our MTC. At the end, the learner will see their progress and how many things they got correct. I'm going to exit back to the dashboard and give you a quick tour of Learn and Go, which has lots of really fun games. I mean, I could stay forever in here. My daughter's favourite, Gem Hunter. Both the Gem Hunters are great. Lots of different games. Animations. So some of these are from things like our originals, books, animations. We've also got times tables, songs, times tables, games in here. And then we have some things like matching activities, different quizzes, and all sorts of stuff in Discover as well. So we've got 3 different sections: play, watch, and discover. Lots of really fun things. So back to here. Here. So I said earlier, 6 levels of ESL. Reason I'm oh, my internet's frozen. Working. So we have different levels, so go up to level 6. So it's a little bit like a puzzled. So yeah, we've got things like word searches, anagrams, and these are all based on ESL, so English as a second language. So we have like
Tired.
but this is based on
T-I-R-E-D.
different things.
Amazing. Sick.
Okay, I'm going to exit very quickly. So, exit to the dashboard. How many apps can we get through? So yeah, let's see. So puzzles, I said with puzzle, we've got lots of different themes. So we've got, these are great for like end of year stuff especially, but also great for golden time. Great to work alongside some topics, things like ancient Egypt. I know that is taught in a lot of schools. Like rainforest, if you look at geography. When it gets to like sports day and you get a rainy day like today, it's that perfect activity. We've got like a sports game. So yeah, we've got woods, we've got ocean, we've got fairy tales, mythology, beach. And space is one of our newest ones as well. So basically you go in here and you can play the different games, different jigsaw activities, matching activities. I'll show you one about jigsaw. Just about matching jigsaw. So you can choose how many pieces you want. And then we have the different pieces you can piece together. I think you get the idea. So that's a nice fun one for learners to either play at home, or if you did have time in your classroom time, they can also use it in things like golden time, or like where you've got any gaps in your timetable. I don't think it happens these days. So, the curriculum is so packed, I'm aware. So yeah, so lessons. So these are lessons that I have assigned to my learners. So as you can see, these are things like you can access the AR materials. So if you press go on that, you can view our AR models. So you can have a look around the Great Fire of London. We have so we've got like the matching activities that you'll find in things like Learn and Go, but obviously more specific and tailored on a topic that you're teaching. And if you assign any like printable resources, so these are printables off the website, you can press download, and that will download and they can print it off at home. So that is lessons. So that is my quick tour of the dashboard, and I'm going to go back to the admin area and show you how to use the planner tool and how to get your lessons to appear in the dashboard. So one thing I didn't cover, again, a little bit crazy today in my brain, is in the Manage Learner Logins area. In order to make your lessons appear in the dashboard, currently, this will change. You need to add your learner to a group. So this is the learner that I was just using. In order to make the things appear, I've added them to a group here. So to make a group, you press add group. So you can call this a new group. I'll call it CPD. Okay, and so when you go to that group, so that CPD session group, I am going to add a learner that I've got. So that learner that I've just had, that's mine, that will go into that group. And so now anything that I assign to that group will appear for that learner. So I'm going to press save. And I'm going to choose something on site. I don't know, I'm going to go with ancient Egypt. Okay, so say if I wanted to assign something to my learner and I wanted to assign it to that group, I would use either the planner tool here, which is a handy little thing to drag things into, or there is another way of doing it, which I prefer. I feel like I've got more control over it, is the save button, and you can add it to a lesson. So I'm going to create a new lesson, and I'm going to call this Ancient Egypt. Save. Should have a capital, never mind. Do that later. So I'm going to assign that to that lesson. I'm going to go to my lessons. So my lessons are in my resources again. Go to lessons. And in here, you can see my lesson that I've just created is Ancient Egypt. However, it's not been shared yet. So the first thing you need to do is share it. So press share. press that toggle switch. If it's going to let me. Oh, it's because I've used all my 10 lessons. I'm going to deactivate them. You just cancel that one. Move Stone Age. I'll put Ancient Egypt in instead. So I do so many demos and then you run out of lessons. And then press save. So that's now shared, but it's shared to nobody right now. So you can share it by using the lesson cards, but these won't be here forever. The new way of sharing is in the dashboard. So here you press on the pencil. Yeah, that really quick, I appreciate it. So if you hover near your name of your lesson, you can press the pencil. And then I'm going to find that group that I've just made. So that's CPD session 1. And make sure that it's highlighted. If you highlight more than one, hold down shift and you can assign it to several of your groups. But at the moment, I just want it on that one, so just make sure it's blue and then press save. Now, if I go back to my learner, this is where it doesn't work, but it should do. I'm going to refresh my screen. There it is. So that's Ancient Egypt, and that has now appeared for my learner because I have just shared it to them in that group. So that is there. So you can share that to as many learners as you want if you've got more learners in the group. So that is a very quick tour of the dashboard. So very good. Quickly, I'm going to go back to my presentation, which is now on my screen. And I'm going to carry on where I left off. Ooh, didn't want to do that. I'm going to press slideshow. That's the button. So I've covered. Did I cover all those things? I believe I did. Amazing. Well, very quickly, very 5 minutes, I'm going to go through mobile apps. Now, I'm not going to show you the mobile apps in any detail today, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and how they work. So mobile apps are a little bit different to our learner dashboard apps. So you as a teacher or as an account holder don't get the information kind of sent to you from that learner. So basically, all of the information, like all that practice and things that learner is doing, is saved on the device. The apps are free to download. And they will stay free. So there is an option in the app that you can sign up to an in-app subscription. So you could do that, but if you've got a learner login, you also don't need your Twinkl user account. Now, this is something a lot of people don't realize, or even if you are on Core, or if you're on Extra, you can get into our learner, our mobile apps using your account. So you as an account holder. The only exception to that is our Rhino Readers app, which is in our Ultimate subscription band, but all of the other apps are Core, Extra, and Ultimate. And all, not all, learner login enabled. We've got 8 of the apps are learner login enabled. So you can basically use your mobile app offline. So that's its benefit. So even though it's not giving you the data, the benefit of having a mobile app is you can use it offline. So, you can use it, the child could use it when they go swimming, for example, and they're waiting around for a sibling, and they could be practicing the times tables while they're waiting. So great for offline access. So our learner dashboard is online, this is offline. If you've got things like our reading apps, you can download some of the books before you go out, and then you can then access them offline after that point. Some of our apps are iOS only, but some of our apps are also on both Android and iOS. Okay, so some of our apps. So Rhino Readers. So this is like the one that's almost paired with the other app that I talked a little bit about earlier. So this one actually gives the learner access to all of the levels and the books within the app. So the My Rhino Readers library, which is the online one, allows you as a teacher to be very specific about which books you want your learner to read. This one is more of an open platform where they can go in and choose and select where they're reading at. There's also some games and activities in here, and those are used to consolidate learning and also just to add a little bit of extra enhanced reading experience for the learner. So lots of people come back for the games alone because they have great little games in there. So yeah, so the learners love all the different aspects of the mobile app, but it's not for everybody because obviously it means that you're giving them full access to choose where they're at. So we've got 2 sides of this app that work well. We have the Originals app. So this is our Reading for Pleasure app. So it covers everything up from not not to 11, basically. So it starts off with kind of like your first word books, and then we've got the chapter books as you get further along. It also has some audio books in here, and it's also got some listen and follow books, which is where you turn the page and follow along whilst it's reading the audio to you. So this is all about promoting reading for pleasure with your learners. So on my slides, it does tell you which ones are available on iOS and which ones are just on one or on both. So both the apps I've done so far, so Rhino Readers and Originals, are both on iOS and on Android. We have Mental Maths. So Mental Maths is also on iOS and Android. So this one is all about practicing times tables and fluency on addition, subtraction. We've got number bonds, halving and doubling. So it's one very simple game, which is almost like a whack-a-mole game, where you're kind of like building up your speed and fluency using the game and the practice. So yep, another great app. We have the 100 Square. So the 100 Square is something that can be used at home, but it's also a really good learning tool for in the classroom. So it's an interactive 100 Square. So again, you can either log in with your Twinkl account on your classroom devices, or you can get the learners to log in with their learner login. So I'll speed through the rest because I'm conscious I'm not giving much time for questions. So we have the Phonics Suite app. So this one is aligned to the letters and sounds scheme. So this is not our own scheme. This one's the other scheme, so the classic phonics scheme. It's designed for intervention work, so it's for working alongside a learner. So like either as a one-to-one or as a small group activity, or something that would need some kind of adult supervision to be able to help them to navigate and to make sure that they're learning the things that are relevant to them at their particular phase. So it covers 5 phases, from initial sounds to blending and segmenting, and obviously is the kind of like building on to reading skills further down the line. So it has 70 games and activities. And this one is for iOS only, and it only works on an iPad. Letter formation and handwriting. So this is practicing letters and numbers, shapes. It also has some basic CV and CVC words in it. So this is letter formation. So you follow along the letter and you follow it out and create the letter shaping from it. So this is one of our earliest apps that we have on here, alongside this one, which is Monster Island. So Monster Island covers our key learning objectives for EYFS. It's fun, and it's like the first step into digital learning. So there's lots of really fun games in there. My nephew is the perfect age for this, and he just really loves that train game, which we've got on there. So it picks up on the different aspects of the EYFS curriculum. And again, it's offline access, so you can play this on the go. You know, while you're waiting around in a restaurant. They're really good for things like that. And this one's available on iOS and Android. And I think, is this the last one? It might be the last one. There might be one more. Can't remember. There's so many apps. The last one I'm going to go for is the Art Studio app. So this is a drawing, colouring app. So we have lots of colouring sheets in here that you can use. It also gives you the option to have a blank canvas. We've got stickers that you can add in. You can learn the basics of colour mixing and all of that topped off. So once you've done your colouring, you can then put it on your wall. So using AR, so it's a great app for kids find it absolutely fascinating that they can then put it on their wall and then admire it on their wall through their iPad. So this one is available on iOS only, but it does work on a mobile as well. So we've recently done an upgrade where it used to be just iPad only, but it's now on a mobile, and it works quite well. It's a small screen, so great for on the go. What was the last one? Amazing. We did it. Okay, not got much time left. However, if we could go through questions, fire away.